Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here with Midwest Market Management. It is Tuesday, March 25th, about 10:30 a.m. We're recording our U.S. weather with focus on national yield perspective. So that we're going to start doing these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is our first one for the 2025 U.S. growing season. So we're just getting kicked off here today. Not a lot of weather to really be talking about. Heck, I'm in Wisconsin. There's still snow on the ground here that came down yesterday. But you get down into this, into the south and into the Delta. There is planting progress going on there. So we're going to start our Tuesday and Thursday weather reports here. I've got Riley Sykard here with me. He's going to help. He's got some maps here. We use Marcus Weather Group mapping to bring in some nice maps to show you guys and kind of get everybody's mindset in the right place. How are you today, Riley?
Doing good today. Doing this U.S. weather as well as we're also doing a safrinha crop weather report too. Doing those on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well to keep it simple. Clint, anything else you want to add, or are we ready to get this thing going?
No, I think let's go ahead and jump right in the maps. They usually tend to tell the story.
Sounds good. First thing I want to look at here today, the 1 to 5 day temperatures. Pretty clear this time of year. If you're not in the Delta, not really much temperature-wise to be looking at. Clint, you want to go a little bit more into how the Delta planning process goes?
Yes. So it's really hard to get a gauge, as far as how much is actually planted down there because USDA's NASS reports their planting perspectives don't start till April 7th. But I did talk to some customers down in Mississippi and Arkansas here this morning, and they have been planting corn and particularly in Mississippi. Now this is a handful of operations. Thoughts here, but they want to try to wrap up their corn planting by the 1st of April if they can. After that, it's going to kind of pushes pollination into a very, very hot window. So hoping to get everything planted. They had some rain disruptions over the weekend. Sounds like there's maybe some more coming in the next weekend as well. And then somewhere around April 1st, they'll start switching everything over to bean planting. So, but I know they're eager to plant as much corn as they can get in there this year. So, Riley, the forecast, this is showing a lot of 75 to 80-degree days, which looks like some pretty ideal planting conditions there if the sun's out.
Yep, very ideal for getting stuff stuck in the ground. Moving to 6 to 10 days, showing a very similar picture. Not really anything else to add there.
Yeah, so this is getting us out to April 3rd, which we're still pretty cool here in the upper Midwest.
Then switching gears, want to look at the last 13 days of rainfall. Clint, you mentioned that down in the Delta, if they get any rain, it can slow down that planting progress. Like you've mentioned, there has been some rains that have slowed it down, but as long as it's not April 1st yet, they're going to continue, if conditions are right, to be sticking the corn in the ground. So over the next week, I don't see any reason for that to be changing. But one thing I do want to look at right now, surface soil moisture percentage. Everything's dry, but not ridiculously dry to the point where we need to be beating the drum. I mean, Texas being super dry is not an abnormal thing to see. A lot of the corn down there is irrigated. Clint, is that correct?
Yeah, depending on the area, but yes, there is a fair amount of irrigation.
Okay. Then if you look at the surface soil moisture percentage, stuff is below normal, but not significantly at this time. Subsoil showing us a very similar story. Stuff's dry, but not dry enough where we're talking about a 2012 style of drought. Drought monitor maps illustrates that pretty well. I mean, a lot of stuff that needs rain, but is not in critical condition yet. Moving on to the
Go ahead.
Moving on to the 1 to 5 day, pretty clear to see there's some rain in some areas of the Delta right now that could slow down planting progress, but there's also areas that look like they're wide open right now. So it's going to be a hit and miss to see what what the acres are down there between now and the end of March. Looking at the 6 to 10 day, as stuff will start getting flicked into the bean side of the spectrum, pretty dry. It looks like there's going to be a pretty open window there to get stuff rolling. One thing that is important, I think, to look at here in the Midwest during that 6 to 10 day, there's actually going to be a decent amount of precip through the eastern corn belt, and especially in Illinois. That means some of the few areas that do need rain are going to get what they need to help get the conditions ready for spring. Moving in, once again, showing this 1 to 13 day. We mentioned on the Safrina report, this is a really good map to look at. You can see areas are getting rain. It's not like there's everybody's missing out on everything, and it tells you the story, and it can help get you in the right mindset that a large majority of this area that's going to be growing corn this year is getting rain right now to help with the soil. Clint, what do you have to add to that?
Yeah, and I mean, this map, along with the subsoil moisture maps and the surface soil moisture maps, brings up some good arguments. And I hear a lot of talk as I'm talking to the farm community about the drought monitor map and the fact that it's lit up and we're going to have some rain, timely rains throughout the year. Couldn't agree more. We are absolutely going to need the timely rains. Subsoil moisture is on the light side. The bearish argument to that, though, is that we are primed and ready to plant as soon as the temperatures get to where we need to be. And, this moisture that I'm looking at here, I mean, if we were deeper into April or May and we had been seeing a lot of moisture, you start seeing the 2 to 3 inch stuff, that can be problematic. At this point in the game, we should absorb that moisture pretty well and convert it into ideal conditions as moving forward. So, it's really quite early to even be talking about it, but April 1st isn't too terribly far away, and we know how soon guys are liking to get going on soybeans now when they can. So it'll be an interesting couple weeks, and we'll be keeping an eye on it moving forward here.
All that said, that's what we have to show to you guys today. Really important to reel in the mindset that there's not a drought yet. Right now, the growing season's just starting down in the Delta with stuff getting planted there. The moisture maps are telling you there's some rain being dispersed out there no matter where you look. There's not really a big reason to be nervous at this time, and it's going to be something that going forward you got to look at and monitor, but not also become obsessive at the same time, which that's also why we've talked about doing weather reports twice a week here. Doing it on a day by day basis gets you stuck in the trap and can mess with your mindset and how you look at everything from a perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, Riley, there's, two major weather models that the world uses, the Euro and the GFS, and everything after that is all about interpretation, right? And like our job here, in my opinion, is to interpret weather in the terms of a national yield and what should I be doing or what should producers be doing from a grain marketing perspective. And right now, prices are not really in any realms that we're really entertaining making any sales, nor do I see anything on any of these maps that's going to change the landscape of the 2025 marketing year. We have our price zones in play that we're, going to express interest in selling. Right now, we're going to need a weather catalyst to move us into those price zones as they're currently above where the market conditions are. But ultimately, we always get some sort of a weather threat somewhere along the way. Now, our job is to try to help decipher whether that's a weather threat or a landscaping weather change. And as you get to know us a little bit better, you'll probably come to realize that when it comes to massive yield failures, we do acknowledge that they can and will happen, but today's genetics compiled with, the best farmers in the world out here. Betting against the U.S. farmer not getting it done and not producing the yield is more often than not a losing bet, and one that I'm not going to participate in too often. So looking forward to the growing season. It'll be a new, fresh set of things to talk about, maybe put these tariffs and all this geopolitical issues on the back burner for a while and get back to making corn and soybeans. So hope everybody has a great day, and hope you take the opportunity to get some value out of these weather reports moving forward and maybe share them with a friend. Thanks a lot.